Their size range is about 1.5 to 6.5 feet, and they're one of the largest bony fishes. There are 5 main types: albacore, Atlantic bluefin, skipjack, yellowfin, and big eye. Tuna are one of the most highly evolved fish species. Tuna are generally dark on the top and light on the bottom for camouflage. They have a sleek and streamlined body, adapted for speed, and on its back there are 2 closely spaced dorsal fins and 7 to 10 finlets that run from the dorsal fin to the tail fin, and the tail fin is typically forked or crescent shaped. This photo shows the 5 types of tuna. On the top right is the albacore, below that is the Atlantic bluefin, below that is the skipjack, on the left again is the yellowfin, and all the way on the bottom is the big eye tuna.
Images of an underwater photographer standing next to a colossal tornado of fish has been making its rounds on the internet. It has left many people in disbelief due to the sheer magnitude of its wonder. The researcher Octavio Alberto, who captured it all, assures everyone that it is a natural event and has released the footage to put everyone's doubt to rest. He has been witnessing this phenomenon for the last 3 years, while working to protect the marine reserves of Cabo Polmo National Park in Mexico. He explains these are jackfish, performing the rituals of their courtship behavior. The conditions happened to be just right on this particular day, and after an hour of following the fish around, they began to execute this display. Octavio hopes his images provoke people to start thinking about the environment, more specifically in this case the ocean, dwindling fish populations, the health of marine ecosystems worldwide, and our role in it all. This stunning video has no doubt helped contribute to his goal, as we can all see what a shame it would be to lose such a magnificent performance.
Adaptations. Tuna can swim at speeds up to 20 knots, which is about 23 miles an hour. Adults typically weigh from 300 to 1,500 pounds. Their average natural lifespan is 15 to 30 years, and they're homothermic, which means warm-blooded, so they're able to thermoregulate, which is the ability for an animal to maintain a certain body temperature even when the surrounding temperature is very different. Thermoregulation enables tuna to survive in cold or offshore waters.
What is it that makes tuna so special? I mean, when I hear tuna, I'm thinking the canned kind. Kidding. Tuna is actually one of the most unique fish of our oceans. Tuna is amongst the fastest swimming fish belonging to the Tunini tribe, which consists of 15 species. Class and order. Tuna fish are thought to be beyond their range because of their tuniform swimming, which means they have the capacity to preserve heat in their muscles and elevate their metabolic rate. This is what makes them swim so fast. The sister group to the tuna are the bonito fish. Bonitos, though, are half the size. The impact of the thermal structure and the changes in ocean ecology both influence the tuna's evolution. These warm-blooded fish even swim in the oceans of Iceland.
Capable of reaching speeds of over 60 miles per hour while hunting food, and known to travel over 1,500 miles in a 90-day period, the Atlantic bluefin tuna stands alone when it comes to strength and endurance. Now let's take a closer look at the migrations of the Atlantic bluefin tuna. The largest of the Scombridae family, Atlantic bluefin tuna, are split into 2 distinct groups based on their specific spawning areas. They are the Western Atlantic bluefin tuna and the Eastern Atlantic bluefin tuna. Historically known to spawn around the Gulf of Mexico, Western Atlantic bluefin tuna are known for maturing later than their eastern counterpart. Maturing around 12 years of age, they are capable of reaching up to 13 feet in length and over 2,000 pounds in weight. The closely related Eastern Atlantic bluefin tuna is nearly identical, except that they spawn around the Mediterranean Sea and the Eastern Atlantic. They reach maturity at a much younger age and lesser weight than the Western bluefins. Into early summer, the tuna are busy reproducing in their specific spawning locations, with a single female often producing millions of eggs that mature quickly. The small percentage of eggs that do survive grow fast, and the young tuna continue to mature and expand their swimming range. Fully mature fish leave the spawning areas during fall and winter to travel north in search of food. It is in the North Atlantic that the western and eastern bluefin interact, but the two always find their way back to their spawning areas each spring in order to repeat the cycle again.
Being a scombrid, the bluefin tuna has a lot of really effective endothermic red muscle. This allows the tuna to both hunt at the surface and at freezing cold depths nearing 1,000 meters, where there may be temperatures that other fish can't withstand. Tuna can travel up to 43 miles per hour, and they are some of the most migratory organisms on the planet. In order to generate this much energy and keep up their massive size, bluefin tuna must be constantly feeding on smaller fish, crustaceans, squid, and eel. Bluefin tuna are oftentimes found in a feeding frenzy beneath massive bait balls of smaller schooling fish like herring, mackerel, and other bait fish. Because of its size, the bluefin tuna is at the top of the food chain, with its largest predators being humans. Bluefin tuna are different than most other organisms of similar size because they release millions of eggs at once. This pushes it somewhere in the middle of the R to K strategist spectrum. Maturation is slow, and a lot of energy goes into raising a bluefin tuna offspring, but the initial spawning suggests otherwise. Bluefin tuna typically live up to 40 years, with the eggs hatching 4 days after being spawned. After the egg hatches, it becomes a larva, where they start to feed on zooplankton anywhere from 0 to 10 meters from the surface. The tuna then starts shoaling in juvenile forms, where they feed on small fish. Shoaling is the same thing as schooling, but instead of swimming in the same direction, they are scattered. After shoaling for quite some time, the tuna are then mature enough to be free swimmers.
The main threats to the Atlantic bluefin tuna are over-exploitation of older fish and a high fishing pressure on small fish that contributes to growth overfishing and threatens natural recruitment. Over the last 4 decades, the Atlantic bluefin tuna has declined by at least 51% and is now listed as endangered. The southern bluefin tuna adult fish has experienced an 85% decline, resulting in its critically endangered status. In January of 2013, the International Scientific Committee for Tuna and Tuna-like Species in the North Pacific Ocean said the population of the Pacific bluefin tuna has declined by 96.4% since humans began fishing it decades ago. At least 90% of the fish being caught have not yet reached reproductive age. Here's an example of tuna overfishing in the South Pacific.
4 different species are fished in the tropical Pacific. These are skipjack tuna, with some yellowfin tuna mixed in. But this boat is not setting nets. The ancient technique of fishing with rod and line is now practiced on an industrial scale. The water jets break up the outline of the boat from below and mimic the noise and commotion of bait fish when under attack. Meanwhile, live bait fish are strewn around the boat to keep the tuna interested. It may look like a lot of effort for a few fish, but this pole and line technique of fishing can be surprisingly effective. Fishing for export is now big business in the tropical Pacific, with tuna alone accounting for 30 times more fish than all the fish caught by subsistence fishermen.